Skepticism is a very delicate balance that people, I believe, throughout adulthood fail to hone and utilize properly. What I mean by that is this: everybody must have a healthy level of skepticism. But what is healthy? You even see it in my comment section. Some people are so fringe on one end of it, everything's a scam, this and that, to where they won't do anything. They're so pessimistic. Everything and everyone is a scam. Starting your own business is a scam. Getting a 9 to 5, everything is a scam. And then you have people on the other side of the spectrum that fall for anything and everything under the sun. The traditional snake oil salesman thing, which funny is the real snake oil actually is very good. But people, that saying came out because people started fabricating a fake snake oil. That's where the snake oil salesman came from, if you didn't know. Funny story, right? But I'll do a separate reel on that. So we have to find this delicate harmony or balance when it comes to skepticism. But the reason I'm bringing that up is so many people today are crippled and bound to inaction because their skepticism is just absolutely out of control. Like, even if you're watching this video and you're skeptical of me or anybody online, fair enough. But let's say you came to me and you watched a video on male and female nature or real estate or sales or communication. All four of those things that I described, among many other things that I talk about, none of those things are fake. Meaning you can do your own research and get an old book or do your own due diligence on those things and figure things out, which I would recommend for people to do, and then cross-reference it with like what you're reading in the old school books with what I'm saying, right? Or someone else that you follow or whatever it is, to start to see. But you have to look at particular indicators. Now, I'm going to get into some things that you can do to vet people, right? Which again, won't make it foolproof, but it'll help you along this way because you need to find that sweet spot. Because the healthy skepticism is good, but too many people nowadays not only use skepticism as an excuse to not do anything, but they're so on the extreme end of skepticism that they won't even look or consider anything, which blows my mind. Those individuals don't realize that they're literally crippling themselves from the inside out. They're making themselves incapable of changing their mind, updating their beliefs and philosophies, taking any action, taking any risk at all, going after what they want. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. It literally turns you into this lifeless, emotionless being that's just pissed off all the time and claims that everything and everyone is fake. Now, again, to a degree, they're right to a degree, because I'm also skeptical of a lot of things, and I've always told people over the years, you can be skeptical of me, but confirm what I say. I say that with confidence because when you confirm what I say, I know that it's true. But we got to take a look at this thing the right way and ask yourself, am I allowing skepticism to get the best of me? Is it? Leave a comment. I really want to understand where people are at, right? Because right now, as we transition, I'm going to talk about some things that you guys can do to vet potential people that are talking about things. But the number one thing I'll tell you is this: if you want to combat skepticism, go back to the old school. Study people from 20, 30, 40 years ago, read the old books about business and that kind of stuff and sales, and stick to the old school to start out with and set a foundation. Because even though some of those people might have been full of ish, it's not like it is now, where every person running ads is just lying to you, right? It wasn't so out of control like it was back in the day. Start with the old school stuff. Do stuff in person. Read books. That will help you with this thing. Consult with the old school mentors and people who have been in the game for 30, 40, 50 years, right? That at least will get you going in the right direction, right? And ask yourself this individual, this person who's going to give me advice, or this person that I'm going to go to, whether it's a mentor in real life for relationships or business or whatever, ask yourself this: do they live a life that I would want to live? And do they exhibit principles and a beingness as a person that I would want to adopt? And if the answer to those isn't a, just resounding yes, then go the other way. I'm sure any of you who follow me at whatever level, free, paid, or anything in between, if you didn't like how I live, how I speak, the qualities that I have, the results that I've gotten in business and in sales and online stuff, you wouldn't be around. And many of you who have followed me over the years, met with me, talked to my students, my team, and seen what I've done and the empire that I've built, it further confirms that for you. But what are some things you can look at? Number one is longevity. A lot of times these new gurus that pop up and people that are just grifters, whatever you want to call them, snake oil salesmen, they're new. Which is why, like when I came out, I waited a good at least 3 or 4 years before I ever started really pitching people stuff. I think it was year 3 when I did my first door knocking course that I sold to people because it was by popular demand. I didn't even want to do it, right? Then it evolved. But I've been in the game now for 12 years when it comes to business and doing stuff online and all that, right? One is length of time. Number 2, don't listen to them or talk to them. Talk to their actual students. People who are on their programs, who are on their team, right? Whatever they do for these individuals to vet them. That's why I always tell people, all the people on my team, Team BC Nationwide, or any of the thousands of students I have from my coaching program, Distinguished Agent, and also the 90-day sprint, please go talk to them. Do not talk to me. Of course, I'm going to say, oh, it's the best. Of course, because that's me and my stuff. Talk to them and look at their results, which can be tied to that too. Because if you talk to a lot of them and all of them, or the vast majority of them are getting results, then it starts to further confirm this thing. Because people can only fake the funk for so long. If somebody creates a program or something like that and it's really bad, word is gonna, oops, my ring fell off. Word is gonna get out. Again, I've been in the game for 12 years. If what I did was that bad or not good, word would be out and nobody would be on my stuff. So again, don't talk to them and confirm with them. Talk to the students and look at the results that the students are getting. Right? Number 3 is look at the overall messaging. Does it have that air of, this is a secret, industry secret, right? Or they have the secret sauce. Or, right, contrasting that, is it real, raw, authentic, and transparent? I've always, myself, leaned more towards the second one because I hated the first one. I've never said, this is the secret sauce and this and that, right? I may have said certain little things here and there are unique to me and things that I've created, but I've never hid behind this wall that, oh, I have this magical secret that nobody else has. Because most people who are talking to you today online or talking to you about marketing, sales, or whatever it is, the vast majority of us come from a lineage of learning from other people, reading the old school stuff, right? Like, I'll say the people who are legit. We didn't invent anything. We might have put a spin on some stuff, experimented, developed our own kind of style and that kind of thing where some of it's unique. But the foundation is always what was left before. The people who laid the groundwork, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, books that are hundreds of years old, 50 years old, thousands of years old, right? That knowledge has been around. If anybody's coming out saying they're the savior, this new thing, right, that has that air of too good to be true. But the thing is this skepticism gets so out of control. I've always preached old school hard work to people. Even I have people telling me I'm selling a dream, but I'm like, dude, your skepticism is so extreme that me giving you classic, hey, this isn't going to be easy, you're going to have to work hard, is suddenly labeled as a grift or whatever. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? I even say that the few times that I've been able to, because I can't now that I've run ads, I've even said that. If you're looking for the easy way out, this isn't for you. If you're not willing to work hard, this isn't for you. If you want to make money immediately, super fast, get rich quick, this isn't for you, and it's not that. Like, I'm always upfront about that. Because I err on this side of honesty, transparency, and just telling people what it is. I believe that my brand blew up under this principle originally. Hey, I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm starting in real estate. This is my journey. It's not what they show you on TV. That was my brand, and it still is. That's what allowed me to get 200,000 subscribers in a couple years and 50,000 on Instagram before I had to start over and all that shit was censored, right? That was the basis of it. And I wasn't like, oh, I'm some special secret, no. Hard work, this is what it is. It's not what they show you on the reality TV shows and the movie screen. This is what it is. And believe me, when I got in, other people were more skeptical than me. You can't do that. It's entrepreneurship. You need to have the connections, blah, blah, blah. I said, screw that shit, man. There's a level of skepticism too, but I believe that I can figure it out. I'm just going to grab the tools that I know that work, and I'm going to give it my all. And many of you are hidden behind that wall. I've just given you a few things to kind of vet people. But you really have to take an honest look at yourself and say, am I allowing skepticism to stop me from even trying? Because once you cross that threshold, and it goes either way, right? Being totally gullible or being so overly skeptical that you don't do anything, you'll find that happy medium if you actually get out there and do things. Because when you're too much on this side of extreme skepticism, sorry, tongue twister, you will be risk adverse. You will be extremely pessimistic. You'll think that nothing's going to work out. And this is a big one right here. This fourth one is you'll question things that you even try. And if you do something that works and you're questioning it, like this isn't going to work, it's not going to work. I've always told that to any new person coming into my ecosystem. I said the one thing that you need to handle internally when you start with me is whatever I give you that you're going to do, you cannot doubt it. If you doubt it and you do not believe that it's going to work before you do it, right? Because you obviously have to do the work. But if you're already going into making a call, talking to somebody, using a script, and you're like, man, this shit isn't going to work, it's not going to work. Because the moment you get a reaction, and you will, that's not favorable, you'll chalk it up to that. Oh, I told you it doesn't work. And you're already coming in bad faith. But you have to look at it this way logically. The same tool that I gave that person, I use myself to build what I built and thousands of other people at this point. When I look at like my coaching, there's been thousands of people that have gone through it, and my courses now, tens of thousands, I think, over the years. Results, but they do it. And that was the message for the people who came in and didn't have success. That was one of the markers, I believe, that withheld them, was too much skepticism and then not believing that the tools that I gave them, or anybody, right? Or what you read in a book, this applies to anything, wouldn't work. And they believed, man, this isn't going to work. If you come in with that attitude and belief, you will not be able to do it. But see, that's a result. That's one of the negatives of being extremely skeptical. And it's not good. It's detrimental to human progress. Imagine if all the inventions we came out with and all our ancestors were super skeptical. The public was, but the person inventing that thing or pushing that boundary and idea was bold enough to say, you know what? I can make this thing work. I can figure it out. Think about all the stories that we hear, the cliche ones like KFC. He had to present his recipe to like 1,000 restaurants before one accepted it. Everyone else was skeptical but him, but he pushed through and he made it happen. But if you're overly skeptical, you won't push like that. You won't be a legend. You won't create what you want to create. Everyone and their mother was skeptical about me. People used to make fun of me for making videos. People made fun of me getting into real estate and not getting a 9-to-5 job. People made fun of me for chasing my hoop dream, and I played professionally for years until a bunch of injuries, right? Because I obviously wanted to make the NBA. I've been dealing with outside skepticism all the time, but had I had internal skepticism in all those categories that I described and many others, I never would have achieved a fraction of what I've achieved. But you guys have to combat this thing. And in the world of a bunch of BS and fugazi, right, and smoke and mirrors, you have to understand that although healthy amounts of skepticism is good, you cannot allow that mechanism to be so on the other extreme that you don't do anything. Because then you will be trapped in that forever. It will box you in and suffocate you. And it's an artificial barrier that you can't see, touch, smell, or taste. I'm talking like Morpheus from The Matrix, right? It's a prison of the mind. It literally is. And this is one of many, many symptoms of diseases that we have mentally that has poisoned us and our whole entire being to keep us conditioned little, worker bees that do the bare minimum and are always negative and complaining about life. Do you want to be that way? Because I never did. And I was repulsed by people who were always like that. And I swore that I would never be that way. So as much as I'm skeptical about stuff, about the government and all that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't stop me from becoming who I want to become, getting better, and going out there and pushing boundaries. Because if you follow me, you either admire that in me or you would like to adopt that quality in yourself. And you can. But you can't be risk averse. You're going to have to push and move past that skepticism, because along the way, and this is how I'll wrap up the video, you have to be willing to take some L's. I've done coaching, courses, books, events, all that stuff too, and tried things. And sometimes those purchases or things that I tried didn't work out. They were bad, or they were just a straight up scam. It's okay. But I knew that with those mistakes I would learn, But the fact that I was out there trying things and doing things, long term, that percentage of winning would be much better than losing. And that's what's most important long term. You can't allow that one L or potential L to block you from trying and doing everything that you need to do to get ahead. And that's where a lot of people are at. They either won't take the risk or they'll take one little L and, oh, that's it. Everything's a scam. Nah, dude. I even see it on my videos. Oh, this sounds like a scam. It's like, what are you talking about? Anything I just described has not even the hint of a scam, but they're so extreme on skepticism. Everything's a scam. Everything. Imagine how cynical it would be to live that way. And some people sadly live in that reality. And those are the same people that have their faces smashed in these phones 24/7, 365. They live more on social media than they do in the real world. And they don't amount to anything. They're not happy. They're miserable. They complain. All they do is voice their useless opinion online. And there you go. That's a lot of people right now. Do you want to be one of them or not? I didn't. You have to make a choice. All right? Grab some of the free resources in the description. Check them out. Check out that development project I got going on, BCIA Capital. Leave a comment for the algorithm. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys. Peace.